Another brazen lie from your president. Take a look.
There's polling by the Associated Press that shows that almost 70% of Americans, including 40% of Democrats, believe that you acted either illegally or unethically in regards to your family's business interests. Can you explain to the Americans, amid this impeachment inquiry, why you interacted with so many of your son and brother's foreign business associates?
I'm not going to comment on that. I did not, and it's just a bunch of lies.
You didn't interact with many of their business associates?
I did not. There's lies.
Really? No interaction with Hunter's business partners? Well, that's what you're going to go with? Joe Biden is lying right to your face. According to records just released from the House Ways and Means Committee, Biden emailed with one of Hunter's main business partners and associates, the so-called money man, a guy by the name of Eric Sherwin, a whopping 327 times, including 54 emails just between Joe and Eric. Joe was vice president at the time. Most of those emails occurred when Joe Biden, again, was serving. All these communications were conducted with an alias email account, something you're not supposed to do in order to prevent future discovery in like a court of law. According to the House Ways and Means Committee and Jason Smith, Sherwin was the architect of the Biden family systems of shell corporations. They have identified dozens of them used to distribute foreign funds. These were not real businesses as far as James Comer's concerned. In 2018, that text message, remember, Hunter Biden allegedly crediting Sherwin for helping him pay his father's, quote, bills. Quote, my dad has been using most lines on this account, which, through the gracious offerings of Eric Sherwin, I have paid for the past 11 years. In other words, based on that text, Hunter, implicating his own father, received foreign money from places like China and Russia and Romania and Ukraine and Kazakhstan with the help of Eric Sherwin, and then Pops used the funds to pay his bills, all while Joe and Eric emailed back and forth hundreds of times. But Eric Sherwin is just one of the many Hunter business partners that interacted with, as Tony Bobolinsky called him, the big guy. Now, this is a picture of Joe Biden, who just said he never met with. He said, I never spoke with Hunter, my brother, or anybody for that matter, about their foreign business dealings. See that picture there? Yeah, that's Hunter's Kazakhstan business partners after a dinner at the ever so prestigious Cafe Milano. People from Harvard know that location. Now, here's another picture of Joe with Hunter's Mexican partners. And here's a picture of Joe Biden golfing with Hunter's fellow Burisma board member, Devon Archer. Then Vice President Biden even wrote Archer a letter, quote, I hope I get to see you again soon with Hunter. I hope you enjoyed the lunch. Thanks for coming. P.S. Happy you guys are together. Archer testified that Joe Biden took dozens of calls with Hunter's foreign associates and business associates. Quote, Biden was put on the phone to bolster the brand, the Biden brand, and it wasn't Hunter. Archer then testified that Burisma executives, that's the big oil and gas giant out of Ukraine, that they demanded that Hunter call D.C. to lobby against anti-corruption efforts in Ukraine, and of course, Hunter obliged. Now, Archer also detailed yet another dinner at the prestigious Cafe Milano. If you went to Harvard, you know all about it, with Hunter's Russian backer. This time, the dinner was with the former First Lady of Moscow. Her name, Elena Baturina, and the big guy, Joe Biden himself. And that's not all. Another Biden business associate, Tony Bobolinsky, says he met twice with Joe Biden ahead of an unusual business partnership with our number one geopolitical foe right now, which is called China. And in a 2017 WhatsApp message, you may recall, Hunter purportedly using his father to shake down his Chinese business associates. Quote, I am sitting here with my father and would like to understand why the commitment has not been fulfilled. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person that he knows and my ability to hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. That would be Joe Biden. Magically, a few days later, $5 million was wired to a bank account associated with Hunter. Hunter admitted he had no experience in energy, oil, gas, or coal in any way, shape, manner, or form. So he's dealing with the number one energy conglomerate in China and getting millions, and he's making millions out of Ukraine with Burisma. Now, Hunter Biden is now threatening to defy a House subpoena It is unclear if he will show up for his deposition or Joe's brother will show up. In the case of Hunter, December 13th. If Hunter is a no-show, Jordan and Comer, they are planning to initiate contempt proceedings. And the president's son could actually face real jail time. As a designated sacrificial lamb, as was reported last week, it might be a risk that Hunter is willing to take in order to save his father. But let's be clear about three things. One, Joe Biden did, in fact, interact with Hunter's business associates, and he did it over and over and over and over again. Two, according to Hunter, Joe Biden financially benefited from the foreign money distributed to his family, the Biden brand. Number three, Joe Biden is now lying about it once again. He lied to you, the American people, before, as a candidate, as a president, and including yesterday. If Biden did nothing wrong, why would he be lying? Sadly, this is a familiar pattern with Joe when faced with any adversity. Joe Biden lies, and he lies over and over and over and over again. Take a look.
Mr. Vice President, how many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
Sounds to most folks like a crisis.
Well, look, it's way down now. We've now gotten control.
Are you committed to making sure that the troops stay until every American who wants to be out is out?
Yes.
This day, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robbins Island.
The various shots that people are getting now cover that. You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Yeah.
And wages for working families have gone up while inflation has come down 65%. Be crystal clear, no one making less than $400,000 a year will pay a single additional penny in tax for all these things that were in the Build Back Better plan.
Now, no one on earth believes those blatant lies, but many in the media mob, they're more than willing to ignore them. Why? Because Joe Biden's a Democrat. Instead of investigating Joe's apparent corruption, while some so-called journalists in the media mob, they would rather bash James Comer for daring to hold Biden accountable. Watch.
You're calling it an influence peddling scheme, and you don't even know definitively whether or not it's a loan?
No, you don't.
You don't know
understand.
definitively.
It's like you're financially illiterate. You look like a smart guy on TV. Listen, I'm a banker. You know, I've been involved in a bank board for a long time. The money that the Bidens paid Joe Biden back with came from influence peddling. When they made the deposits then wrote the check the same day, they had like a $2,000 balance. I think one account they were overdrawn in, and they deposited the same amount of money they wrote to Joe Biden. There's no question. I don't even think the White House is disputing that.
Being paid back from a loan, I don't think there's any statute that says being paid back from a loan, regardless of where that money comes from. Loan. All right, sir.
Yes, it does matter. If you take money from a drug dealer, if you loan money to a drug dealer, and that drug dealer pays you back with money that he sold drugs, then you're complicit.